Hello everyone. So today we'll be doing watercolor painting of blue tip. So let's get started. I hope you are able to clear me, hear me right? Yes. So let's start. Okay. I have my paints ready. Okay. So brushes I'm using brush stroke and let's start. Initially I will do the rough sketch. Okay. It's going to be a bird painting. Okay. I'm going to do a very rough sketch and then I'll proceed on to the painting. Okay, so you can watch along with me and you can do it, or else you can see the complete video and you can try. Okay, anything that you draw, you can have it in the basic shape and then you can add details later on to that. Okay, yes, blue tips will usually have this. Blue tips will usually have this blue color. Okay, this is what, and this bird, while I paint I will add more details. So the basic shapes, and here this is actually sitting in a branch. Make your watercolor sketch very light. Okay, so the bird will usually have something like this, and the details, while I paint I'll add the remaining details. Okay, and here I'll have some flowers. Okay, this is going to be in a very loose style of painting. Okay, some leaves and florals. Okay, so some buds here. Okay, so this is actually going to be very colorful bird floated. Okay, while I do this, just I'll make the sketch very light. Okay, so for the watercolors make it very light. Okay, so that I will have the very lightest sketch possible so that after painting I don't see any pencil marks. Okay. Okay. So let me start painting it. Okay. I'll start with this region and we'll move on to this tails and all the eye regions and beak regions. Okay. So the main here, the body of the bird, I'll be using lemon yellow and cadmium yellow. Okay, this is more of both cool and warm yellows. So if you have spray bottle, you can very well use it. Okay, just a spray so that the paint remains wet. Okay, I have a wide variety of colors here shown. We use first initially lemon yellow. Okay, whatever colors you have, you can, if you don't have many colors, you can go with the primary colors that you have. Okay, yellow color. Lemon yellow and warm yellow colors. Okay, so what I will do, I will first initially wet down the areas here. Are you able to see the bird region? If you have any doubts also, you can just ask in the comment section. You can directly take paint mixed with water and apply here, or else what you can do, you can wet the area surface and then you can go ahead and, so let me teach you one technique at a time. So I'm just wetting it. This is called wet on wet technique. Very light layer of water. Yes. Okay. Then I'm taking lemon yellow color here, and can you see how much it is spreading? Don't put too much of water here because it gets overflow. Okay. Okay. Towards this, you'll have some like feathery kind of thing. You can maintain that also. And I'm using the warmer yellow in these regions while it is still wet. Okay, this gives you the feathery effect, right? Can you see there is a difference between the yellow that I applied on the first layer and also I'm applying the second layer while it is still wet. Okay, so the next region is this particular region. It's going to be light, more towards light green. Okay, so more towards light green, and I'll first apply lemon yellow and then little bit of sap green. Okay, sap green or blue. Okay, this is a blue tint, so the major area of the feathers and here will be blue color. Okay, so I will take the lemon yellow here. It's a small region. Okay, and what is the combination? See, for example, if you add lemon yellow and blue, you will get green color. So I'm taking, can you see the feathery texture? You are getting it here. Are you able to notice it down? Yes. Okay, this is a small area that you have. Next I will move on to the legs region. It's primarily actually black, so you can directly use black, but I'll use something which I mix. Okay, and try to mix with Prussian blue and burnt sienna. Okay, so I'm getting a very dark tone of color, burnt sienna and the Prussian blue. If you have black also you can directly use, but you'll not get that real feel. Okay, by for your watercolors to pop, you'll be using the mixture colors. Okay, here I'm just, can you see it is almost black only. This is wet on wet technique. I'm not wetting the paper previously. I'm directly applying the paint onto the paper. Okay. Okay. So this is actually wet, and if I should wait for this to get dry. Okay. If it doesn't dry, if it is still wet and I'm touching the branch area, then this color is going to get smudged. Okay, so for that purpose, make sure this is dried, only then you can paint the neighboring areas. Okay, now I will move on to the bird's eye and the beak. Okay, for this also I'm mixing. This is burnt sienna and this is Prussian blue. Okay, I'm mixing it. I'm getting a dark blackish shade. Okay, and I'm applying that for my eye region. So the center of the eye will be usually white, so I'm preserving that center area of the eye, the white of the paper itself. Okay, then there are like regions like this. Then the beak area. Okay. This is how. Then after this is over, I'll move on to the main color, that is blue. You can go with colors like ultramarine blue or what is the other color, cobalt blue. Okay, so I'm using cobalt blue color. Okay, so what I will be doing here, just can just going to be like this. The smallest brush, make this fine details. Okay. Have that V shaped around this neck. Okay. That's going to add that feathery feelings. Okay. And the next is this particular feather over here. So here what I will do is the same color. See, this is the main area where we are going to build feathers. Okay. So you just wash it very carefully. Here there is some white area usually will be there, so make it let that get wet, and before I apply the layer, now I'm just defining the feather details. Okay. Towards here, okay. Okay, here in this area there need to be some darkness. I will be adding, if you have so here I need to add a little bit of darkness. Okay. And here very feathery kind of here also little bit of feathers. If you have cobalt blue, you can have a very watery consistency of cobalt blue over here. Okay. Leave the white space in between. Okay. And over this area, very like watery consistency. You can see this is very raw, 2 to 3 drops of water and very little of paint. I am getting it. Okay. And okay, over this area, and here a little bit of feathery. Okay. And here also you can add to get the feathery effect. Okay. If you have ultramarine blue, you can very well use that for this darker regions. Okay. Add like 2 to 3 layers over it. So you have to maintain the contrast with the painting. Okay. Next, I will move on to the branch area. There are like, this is very one layer of paint only we have applied for the legs. I can just make it little more darker. Now I will move on to the branch. For the branch, we are using burnt sienna. Okay. Burnt sienna. Only after this layer is dried up, I am applying it. I am applying, like for the shadows, I am adding little bit of darker color, okay, to maintain that realistic look. Okay. You can add dark green also for the branch. Yeah. I'm keeping it very minimalistic. Okay. This is going to be very like cherry blossom flowers, just primarily of white color. So I'm just showing you the wet on wet effects. So I have applied a layer of water and I'm applying the colors here so that the flowers pop up. Okay. And while you add the yellow over top of this, you will get a beautiful greenish shade. Okay. This is going to be a wet on wet layer concept. Okay. Okay, then here over for the flower regions, I'm just applying some pinkish colors. Some buds at the background. Okay. Then over here, are you able to follow with me here for the painting? some leaves I'm adding in here also. Okay. In order to make the flower pop up, I'm wetting the surface here. Okay. Some very mild colors. See, for the flowers, I will add a very mild pinkish tone. Okay, crimson color. If I add even a very little, it's going to be dark. So for that purpose, I'm just giving a very thin line, and then for the wet brush, I'm merging it. Okay, before it gets dried. The same way I will do it for this also. Okay, I'm actually blending it. For the leaves, I'm adding an extra layer. While you're adding leaves, add some bit of lemon yellow to it. Okay. Okay. The flowers here are looking flat, right? So you need to add depth so that it looks more realistic. Okay. while you do this, you have to quickly take the water and blend it, okay, to the background. This is where you handle wet on wet effectively. Okay. Make certain regions darker, okay. For the leaves, if you need to add more value, more colors like darker, you can go ahead and add some finishing touches. Okay. I'm keeping it very minimal over here. Here, bird is a complete focus. Yellow color, I'm adding it for the center region. Okay. You can actually improvise a lot by working on multiple layers. Okay. Yes. So I have applied different layers over this area, okay, and you can still more add on different feathers, okay. And for the beak, I'd like to add a small detail over it. Okay. And you can go ahead and give a wet on wet background also. If you wish to give a background like a blurred background, you can wet the surface, and while you're working on wet on wet, make sure the paper is of good quality. Okay. Very light pigmented, light pigments, okay. Always choose the correct colors while mixing. Like I'm taking blue and yellow, lemon yellow and blue. Okay. Don't go too dark the background. Okay, it's going to be very mild and gentle. Yes. Okay. So this we have come to the end of this live session. Hope you find this useful. Okay. If you try this, let me know. Okay. You can comment below this video. So what can be the next painting that you wish to learn? Okay. Okay.